Well, I never realized you were on Chingy's One Phone Call Away.
Yep.
Or One Call Away is
Yep.
the name of the song.
Yep.
You actually do the hook.
Yep.
And that was actually, in the music video, Keisha Knight Pullman, who played Rudy on The Cosby Show, that was sort of like her first appearance since The Cosby Show, I feel.
Yeah, because she had like exited from the game to go to school at Clark.
Right.
So she focused on being in Atlanta and being a student.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was kind of, when that video came out, that was kind of her entryway, or her reintroducing herself, back to her fans. And coincidentally, I did that song on my lunch break during the Lady Killers. I did One Call Away on my lunch break while I was shooting the Lady Killers right in Burbank. And Ethan gave me permission to leave set to record that song. Because the AD wasn't going to allow me to do it. It was the only day that I could go in and record it. And I told the AD, I was like, look, after lunch, they're not getting my shot. You guys aren't going to see me back until like 5, 6 o'clock p.m. Can I shoot over to Burbank real quick and record this record? So the AD was giving me a little bit of grief about it. Ethan overheard it and came up and said, Jason, he's good. Jason, go and record whatever it is you're recording and come back to work.
Yeah, man, that was a dope song.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
I mean, that was a hit. It was like the number 2 song.
It was the number 2 song. No, it worked. Shout out to my man Poon Daddy. That's how I got on that record. Poon Daddy, formerly of the Chris Lover and Poon Daddy Show, Hot 97 for all the AT aliens that know. So now he called me to ask me if I would come in and sing it down a couple times, because they knew that it was going to be a single, but they just didn't know who was going to be the featured vocalist on it. And, keeping it all the way real, like, Capitol didn't want me. Capitol Records didn't want me on the record. They wanted, like, Marcus Houston. They wanted Omarion. They wanted Houston, who was signed to them at the time. They wanted every young vocalist except me. And
well, to be fair, those guys had big hits.
no, they had big hits. They were, they were big artists at that time. So I totally get it. But no, Poon, he fought real hard for me to get on that record. And, they did a couple focus groups on it. And eventually the people kind of just spoke and were like, nah, man, Jason's version is cool. Like, he may not be Marcus Houston or Marion, but shit sounds hot. And so it came out.
Well, I've interviewed Chingy a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
He has a very interesting outlook on life these days. I don't know if you've seen any of his.
No, I haven't seen any interviews.
Yeah, his philosophies are interesting.
What is it? What is he on?
Well, it's hard to describe.
Okay.
But he just explains kind of philosophy and religion and science in its own sort of mishmash.
Okay.
Kind of strange sort of way. And you kind of have to see it.
I'll have to see it.
You have to really hear him explain it to really understand. And I remember I interviewed him at the time where, that one transgender model accused him.
I remember that.
Of sleeping with him. And then he denied it, and he ended up losing like a major deal. And he talked about this, like, he lost a major deal.
Oh, really? Because of that?
And then this was Sidney Starr. She came out afterwards and said the whole thing was a lie, and she just used it to get publicity. And I've interviewed her, and she actually admitted on camera that, yeah.
Really?
And, it was one of those things, one of those unfortunate things back in, this was not 2019 where, Malik Yoba comes out and no one really cares. Back then, it was kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
And, man.
Man, that's too bad. Nah, because Chingy's such a great guy, man.
Yeah,
like,
I fuck with Chingy.
Yeah, I fucks with Ching, man. Like, look, anytime he has something going on with that song, he always reaches out to me. A lot of people have asked me why we've never actually performed a song live together. But during that time, when the song was like really popular, there were a lot of people in Chingy's camp, and there were a lot of people, I guess, supposedly in his pockets too during that time.
Huh.
And, with a young kid like that, and you have so many people around you, they kind of dictate to you and tell you what you should do and how you should go about doing it. So from what Chingy had told me, just so, people, the audience or the fans that love that song, just so they know, Chingy has always reached out to me to perform the record. But from what he told me, he was always told, whether it's from executives or people in his camp, that like I was always unavailable, because I was either shooting something or I just didn't want to be a part of it, which was a total and complete lie. So it never gave us the ability to really live out the record together, and enjoy the success of the record together. But I have a tremendous amount of respect for Chingy, because like years later, after he and I talked about it and he was able to reveal a lot of things to me, he was like, man, I just, from now on, man, in the future, when I do some shit, like, I just want to make sure that I include you on it, because you were such a major part of that record, being successful. And so, like, I just want to tell Chingy, like, I really appreciate that, and he's a real stand-up dude for doing that. And I hope maybe in the near future, when, he performs it live or wherever again, we'll get the opportunity to eventually do it. But I just want to thank him for that, because, that's being a stand-up dude right there.
I'll play you. We can kind of cut this into the Chingy part.
Okay.
But because I know it always pops up on Twitter like every like couple months.
Okay.
But here's a part of our interview from Chingy, just so you can kind of get it.
Up to the cerebral brain, then you would know when Moses split the Red Sea and the water raised on this side and the water raised on this side, he put the staff in the middle, which is the spine, and the Kundalini energy is the Pingala, the masculine energy, and the Ida, the feminine energy.
Okay.
The electrical energy that goes up the chakras to ignite the pineal gland.
Okay.
Which, when Moses was at the top of the mountain, he spoke to a burning bush.
Okay.
If you know anything about your pineal gland, it's shaped like a burning bush.
Okay.
It's the light receptor that interacts with the universe.
Okay.
That electricity comes down into, and you can talk to God through meditation.
Okay. It's the way that he's wording it.
I'm not going to say that I understand anything that he said. Let me just keep it 100,
Yeah. No,
he seems to have a firm, focus on this, and I respect it, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to pretend to really understand any of the stuff that he just said.
No, I'm familiar with what he's talking about as it relates to meditation, because there is a gland in the center of your head. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. What is it? Pineal gland or whatever it's called, but it's
Not sure.
Anyway, it's supposed to be that third eye that allows you to, in meditation and in prayer, be able to connect with the Most High and to receive the signals. So I get what he's saying with that. I think with all due respect to him, I think that when he explains it from now on, and if he wants people to gain a better understanding of it, try to explain it more in layman's terms. Because when you start talking about chakras and shit,
Right, you throw Moses.
yeah, you throwing Moses in the mix, and you throwing the staff and the part in the Red Sea.
The burning bush.
Somebody's gonna be like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" So I fucks with Chingy, and I get what he's saying. But goddamn, like, we gotta figure out. I gotta call him. We gonna figure out a better way to word that shit. But but I guess he's just at that stage in his life,
Yeah, man.
where he's evolved, and he's finding those things that are helping him remain centered. Because man, this is a hard business, and when you've gone through, I guess some of the things that he's experienced, especially with losing a deal through to some kind of fucked up room. I mean, that could really damage a person if you aren't centered in some kind of way. So maybe that's his way of doing it.